jerseys. So I'd be like, okay, one day you gold, one day you're maroon. All of a sudden, Jeff Bezos is like, hey, let's go maroon. You know, I don't think let's go maroon.
I was wondering where you were going with this.
Right, it's like, I'll be on the other team. No problem. No. And if they lose, I'll flip again.
He's calling those people turncoats.
Yeah, I know.
Right? And a more diplomatic
Right. Yeah, no, maybe they said they have to point out the error of their ways, or they're just being convenient.
Well, we were talking to Griff earlier. We're going to go back out to Griff right now. He said one lady was camped out since Friday. So let's check back in with Griff Jenkins. He's outside of the Capital One Arena for the big event tonight. Hey, Griff.
Good morning. We got big energy out here with this crowd, ready to get into that rally. Let me tell you where I am, Ainsley. I am 7 blocks back. Rick, just to spin that camera. For blocks and blocks, you have thousands of people that want to hear from President-elect Trump and fans of Elon Musk. But let's talk to folks out here. What's your name?
Pam McAloon.
Pam, congratulations on the Chiefs winning.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're here for the rally and the inauguration, but there's that too. Why'd you come and where'd you come from?
Came from Pinellas County, Florida. It's part of Tampa Bay. And we are Trumpsters, and we are so excited about the inauguration. And what can I say? Make America warm again.
By the way, it's not too cold out here. It's high 30s right now. It could be worse. Why does it mean a lot to you?
There's a lot to be done in this country. We've got to get our border under control. We've got to get inflation under control, the economy. And there are multiple other reasons. Let's bring everybody back together again. There's such a divide. And that's also does. What did you say?
I don't know. You're right. The country's divided. We need to unite. If you believe Trump will unite the country.
Yes, absolutely. Trump will unite the country. I certainly hope so.
All right. Well, that's the message out here. As these people are ready to get into that rally, we'll send it back to you.
You know, and then thanks so much, Griff. And of course, the other thing is, who's going to be the inaugural speech? Is the president going to be unifying? Last time he was talking about where the country was, kind of carnage was his theme. This time he's talking about light, putting light, giving people hope, and talking about unity. So that'll be good.
Yes, breakfast with GOP senators this morning, and then at 1 o'clock, Arlington National Cemetery, and then the campaign-style MAGA victory rally. And then tomorrow, the inauguration speech. He says he's going to focus on unity, strength, and fairness.
That's right. And there were 250,000 tickets given out for the big show, and we can see the seats right there. There's a reviewing stand. The seats are behind us as we broadcast live from Capitol Hill. All those thousands of people, most of them are not going to be able to go. Instead, a couple hundred are going to be inside the rotunda. So let's talk a little bit about this. Security teams are continuing to prepare for tomorrow's swearing-in ceremony inside the rotunda.
Aisha Hasni joins us now with more on what it's going to look like as it begins to take shape. Aisha, yesterday nothing but questions. Do you have any answers yet?
Yeah. Hey, good morning to you guys. A few answers out there. I want to talk about those folks that you were just talking about, the people who had tickets to the outdoor event that no longer had any place to go. I was talking to a bunch of them last night out at the inaugural balls, and I was asking, where are you going to go watch this thing now? Some of them say they're going to go out to the bars and just sit down and get cozy, have a drink and watch, and others have no idea. They're bummed. But they say they're not leaving. They're going to stay in Washington through the inauguration and make sure that they party and have a good time. So there's that. But you're right, those coveted seats inside the Capitol Rotunda space is extremely limited, and I found out that there's only going to be about 600 people allowed inside. There's pictures right there of the preparations underway. That's where the president-elect will be sworn in inside the Capitol Rotunda. And there's been some frustration, you guys, about who gets to go. There's been embassies who are calling Senate offices asking, what about our diplomats? Do they come? Members are wondering about their spouses. I am told only those with tickets to the presidential platform that was supposed to be outside, remember? The presidential platform and also members of Congress will be allowed in the room. So spouses, we don't know yet. And remember, Trump also invited those tech giants like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, the list goes on. So you've got to fit those people in there too somehow. With so many supporters in town, the Trump team is trying to have a backup plan. They're going to offer that big viewing party tomorrow at Capitol surrounded by family, friends, some big names there, star-studded event there. There was even an Elvis impersonator who got a big round of applause. Tomorrow, Trump will attend a church service that he and Melania will meet with the Bidens for the traditional White House tea, and then he will head over here to the Capitol for the swearing in. Again, small rotunda. Even when President Reagan was sworn in, people were standing up. This time, I believe people will be sitting down, and there's this giant platform stage that's taking up about a quarter of the space inside the rotunda, so space is extremely limited. Guys?
All right, Aisha, thank you very much. Let's bring in Congressman from the great state of Florida, Byron Donalds. And Congressman, it's good to have you.
Thanks for coming
Good to be with you guys. How you doing?
Doing okay. Got some questions, though, before we start talking about some of the news of the day. You had seats back there.
Oh, yeah, I had great ones, too.
You had okay, so now, are you even going to be invited inside?
I think how it's going is members of Congress, I believe, are going to be inside. And then I think what Aisha was saying is correct. Everything else for people to get in is going to be super tight. I know everybody's scrambling trying to figure it out. It's a tough transition, but listen, the weather here has been really cold. Yesterday was actually nice.
Yeah.
So I think people are like, well, it's nice now. It's 40 degrees. Don't take that for what's going to happen on Monday. The temperatures are going to drop pretty
It's
fast.
going to change. Let's get your thoughts on TikTok because Trump just said this is the president-elect. He said we're going to save TikTok. I talked to him yesterday morning. He said he's going to personally negotiate the deal. He has a framework in mind. What is your viewpoint on this? Should it be opened back up or should it continue to be shut down?
As long as you can protect the privacy of the Americans, then yeah, as long as you can do that. That was always the key issue. And I think that President Trump's going to find a way to get that done. Listen, the funny thing happens when you go over the deadline, all of a sudden, all of the people, all the things that ByteDance was saying they would not do now become credible. We'll see what happens.
Here's what kills me. They have two other, one's a ByteDance, two other Chinese apps.
Yeah.
They're going to do the same thing. They're getting millions of followers. The TikTok users are going there. They're going to have the same problem. Why don't they just stick to the rules? If you're a foreign entity or an enemy nation, you cannot have a social media presence in our country.
I mean, look, the reason why I think the Chinese don't want to stick to the rules when it comes to operating in our markets is because typically we don't have leadership that actually upholds our rules. That's what happens with trade policy all the time. So you have a president in Donald Trump who's going to make sure that not just China, but every other nation abides by the rules of the United States. When you don't have consistent leadership, you get stuff like this. That's one of the reasons Donald Trump is back. You got to continue that and have that, not a hard stance, but a firm stance. So whether it's China or anybody else, they
It's got to
know.
be sold, though. Because,
Yeah, they do.
because the Chinese Communist Party has control over that. Their editor-in-chief is the general secretary of the Communist Party. And come on.
I voted to shut down the app. Yes, it needs to be sold. And look, I get it. Americans love TikTok. But we're not going to let their information be at the behest of the Chinese Communist
And
Party.
the
We're
news
not gonna
feed,
let
in
that happen.
China's news feed.
That's right.
Well, if you think about it, though, if Donald Trump, in his first week or two, were able to save TikTok for the 170 million Americans who use it,
Right.
they'd be going like, you know what? I like that guy. He's smart.
Yeah.
He sees the numbers. He'll figure a way to do it.
It's not just going to be that. I mean, when Americans see deportations or repatriations happen, they're going to be like, thank you. When they see the border closed, they're going to say, this is what I voted for. When they see peace starting to break out again around the world, they're going to be like, this is the stability that we were asking for. Daddy's back. So that's what you're going to see.
So you just touched on it. Is tomorrow the deportations are going to start or the repatriations are going to start?
Repatriations are going to start.
Is that what we're going to call it?
That's what they are. People have to be able to go back home. I had some people in my office who were Democrats from my district concerned about how this is going to work. And I asked them, I said, if you allow the neighborhood children to come to your home and start breaking stuff, do you let them stay? And they said, no, they got to go home. I said, exactly. Our nation cannot allow for all of the illegal immigration that Joe Biden allowed on his watch to continue. The most cost-effective thing, the safest thing, and the best thing for the American people is we're going to have to repatriate people to their own countries.
Yeah, there's an article that I was reading this morning. Top Trump ally Byron Donalds turns up volume on likely 2026 run for Florida governor. Do you want to break some news this morning?
No. That's a great headline. I like it.
Are you thinking about it? I know last year you were interviewed and you said, I don't want to rule anything out.
I never rule anything out. I mean, you can't in politics. politics. The number one thing you have to do is your job. So we have an agenda to get through for the American people. The first 100 days is going to be critical. We get through that, then we'll see where things are. But right now, the job is in that building behind you. We have responsibility. The president has a mandate, and we're going to deliver.
If you did decide to run for governor, how would that work? Because there's a little territory right there. You had the primary, and most of the Republican delegation went with Donald Trump. Where you have Ron DeSantis, who's the governor now in Florida. He was running against. Have y'all put that behind you, and he's not going to get involved in the governor race, or will that be problematic?
I don't know. I mean, I think whether it's President Trump or Governor DeSantis, they'll probably have conversations around that. The first thing is you actually have to see people get into the race, and you don't really know what those dynamics are until the field is set. Politics is like boxing. Styles make fights. That's just the way it is. And so once that gets set, then I think all the other pieces start falling.
When will you announce a decision if you plan on seeking office?
I don't know that, man. I can't give you that.
But you need about 2 years, right? Don't you think you need about a year and a half to get to ramp up?
Everybody's campaign strategy is different. You know, can you build name ID? Do you have name ID? Do you have the ability to raise the resources? Where are voters on the ground? Do you have support networks around the state? All those different dynamics really dictate how much time you need to ramp up a campaign.
Well, if you decide, the desk is always open. Actually, we've got a couch in New York City. Byron, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And it's easier on your family, too, as a governor. One state doesn't
right.
count. That's what Congressman.
But he'd have to move to Tallahassee.
This is beautiful this time of year.
Yeah, his wife is a fighter too, though. So
We're working out
she's
the
all
entire
into it.
family's problems right here at the Big Plastic.
Look, see how they fixed it. They solved
Are
everything.
you a Seminole?
Of
Are you a
course.
Noel?
I'm Noel-blooded all the way.
Joe Knowles.
Okay.
Thanks, Byron. Great to see you. All right, coming up on 9:15 here in Washington, D.C., and a Fox News alert. 3 Israeli hostages are set to be returning home as that ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas has finally taken effect.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yates joins us live from Tel Aviv. Trey, what can you tell us?
Yeah, hey guys, after 470 days of war, the second ceasefire agreement to this conflict went into effect this morning. We are following these minute-by-minute updates here in Hostage Square in Tel Aviv. Just a few moments ago, there were cheers throughout this square because people could see on the local news that the Red Cross was headed into Gaza to start the transfer of these 3 Israeli hostages. The entire country right now glued to television screens waiting for this news that these hostages will be transferred to the IDF and then come back here to Israel. The agreement was slightly delayed this morning after Hamas failed to provide the Israelis with the list of hostages set to be released. This prompted Israeli strikes across the Gaza Strip, both in the northern and central parts of Gaza. Hamas has released those names now. We know they are Rami Gonen, who was kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival, Emily Damari, a British Israeli who was taken from Kfar Aza, and Doron Steinbecker, who was also taken from Kfar Aza. On a briefing last night, an Israeli official described what this process is going to be like. Again, they will first be in the hands of the Red Cross and then transferred to the IDF. Then they'll be taken to one of 3 reception points along the border and then transported to local hospitals. We're getting new images out of Gaza today that are providing some clarity into what the past 15 months have looked like. You can see in this drone video here from Gaza's southernmost city of Rafah, widespread destruction. In this area, previously, this is where hostages were taken out during the November 2023 ceasefire. According to reports right now, the hostages that were held and will be released today will be coming out of central Gaza. All of this very fluid, but again, the latest information that we have here on the ground, reports indicate the Red Cross is currently participating in the transfer of these hostages, getting them from Hamas and then taking them to the IDF along the Gaza border. Guys.
So, Trey, right after we get these 3 out, when do the prisoners get out? And then when would the next, and when do the next 3 and the next 3 and the next 3? What's the cadence?
Yeah, this is going to be a grueling process for the Israelis. As for the exchange today, we've already seen images on local media of prison vans going to a prison in the West Bank where some of these high-profile Palestinian prisoners are set to be released. There will be a handful released this weekend, and then when the next transfer of Israeli hostages for prisoners happens the following weekend, you'll see more released. This is going to be a very slow process, a 6-week process, and each weekend there will be 3 or 4 hostages released exchanged for those prisoners.
So, Trey, real quickly before we let you go, when it comes to the serious crimes, I mean, all of them are serious, but the most heinous crimes that some of the Palestinians that are in custody right now committed, are they going to save those for last, or was it part of the agreement that it's just the luck of the draw?
They're not, and actually, surprisingly, we had a copy of the ceasefire agreement that was sent to Fox News by a senior Hamas official, and I got to look at the line items of who's actually going to be released for the hostages. Within the first 9 Israeli hostages that will come out of Gaza, so 3 of them today, you're going to see 110 Palestinian prisoners with life sentences. So we are talking about specific individuals who were charged with crimes of terrorism and murder, for example, blowing up a pizza shop, a bus bombing, and a shooting attack in the West Bank. These are high-profile terrorists who are going to be released. And you see already on social media Israelis speaking out saying, look, my loved one was murdered, and now their murderer is going to be back free into the West Bank. And so it is a very controversial deal, understanding that it was the only way to get these hostages out of Gaza. But this is just the beginning of what is going to be a very challenging process. It's not all going to be details of what we've heard from Israeli officials behind the scenes. This will be a heart-staking process for the Israeli people as they wait to see the hostages today. But again, this 6-week process just to get the first major group of hostages out.
Right. And these hostages come at a very high price. Trey, thank you very much for explaining all that.
Trey said they would be evaluated and then they would be transported to the hospital. And hopefully we'll be able to interview some of them or hear from some of them or see them as they're embracing their family.
We've been waiting a long time. All right. 9:20 here in Washington, D.C. And over there on the red carpet, look who's our next contestant on Fox and Friends. It's Sean Hannity. Sean, come on.
Come this way. Look at that. He's dressed passionate. He's so passionate.
The 47th presidential inauguration.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Live coverage on the Sirius XM news channels starting at channel 114. Plus coverage throughout the day of the Sirius XM political channels. Patriot, Progress, and POTUS. And a 1-hour special starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. Hosted by Megan Kelly on Triumph Channel 111. Hear history.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Here tomorrow on Sirius XM.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, and anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-200-1390. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-200-1390. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-200-1390. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-200-1390. 800-200-1390.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1758. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1758. 800-575-1758. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you're a business owner with salespeople, how in the world could you say no to this offer? The top 20% of your salespeople close 80% of the business. 80% of all sales are closed after the 5th attempt, and 83% of all salespeople don't even ask for the sale once. Did you know that 90% of all salespeople have never even read one sales book? How many sales are being lost each month simply because your salespeople are not professionally trained how to sell? Hi, this is the world's top sales trainer, Jason Evans. I'm going to give you a free 45-minute video of pure sales training techniques that will increase your company's sales within days, guaranteed. This could double, even triple your company's sales. This video is closing, handling objections, and more. Just call us and leave us a voicemail, your email address, and we'll send you this amazing video for free. Call 800-500-8320. This is how to close from A to Z for any product or service, regardless of industry, whether you sell face-to-face or over the phone. Call 800-500-8320. That's 800-500-8320. Paid for by Power Sales University.
Today, trading stocks without using options is like skydiving without a parachute. It's reckless. Hi, John Najarian here with my brother Pete. After 16 years as the go-to options expert on national TV, we're teaching individual investors how to harness the power of options. Options can turn a tiny stock move into much more substantial gains. Options are so diverse, they could turn stock losses into profit-taking wins. If you ask us, learning to trade options is no longer an option. It's a necessity. That's why we wrote our new book, Oh, It's Not an Option. And that's why today we're covering the cost of the book and giving you copies for free. If you have any money exposed to the stock market, you need to get this book. It's not an option.
For your free copy of John and Pete's new book, text MONEY to 80555. A $29.95 value free when you cover shipping. Text the word MONEY to 80555. Text MONEY to 80555.
Message and data rates may apply.
You're listening to Fox News Channel on Sirius XM Channel 114.
This afternoon here in Washington, D.C., President-elect Donald Trump is going to hold a campaign-style victory rally, which is unusual because this is before his inauguration.
According to a new Fox News poll, Trump has the highest approval rating he has ever seen, as more leaders in the tech and entertainment and sports industries are backing the president-elect.
You discuss that unless he decides not to. He has that type of power. The host of Hannity, Sean Hannity. Great. First off, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. We appreciate it. Thank you. How lucky am I? I mean,
you are.
Everyone says the same thing. Really?
Yeah.
She didn't reject that?
They do not say that.
And I think it's going to help the show because I see a lot of cross promotion. At the end of your show, instead of you promoting your next show, I see it saying, well, join Fox and
Let not your heart be troubled. Fox and Friends is after Greg Gutfeld in the morning.
Right. That'll be great.
You got two things to celebrate. Of course, you're engaged, but we also got 45. He's 47 now.
He's 47 now.
You put a lot on the line to support the forgotten men and women, and a lot of people are excited today.
So outside of we're all in the same hotel. Outside the window, 6:30 in the morning. Yeah. I hear the crowds chanting. They're all getting ready to go to the rally today, and it is loud. And it takes a lot to wake me up when I'm out cold.
Usually a band.
Usually a band. And you can just tell there's a lot of excitement here. I'm sure you'll have the crazy protesters like you did in 2017. What is amazing, and you were referencing that earlier, is I said in 2007 on my show, I said media in America is dead. And now legacy media, or I said journalism's dead. Legacy media is now dead. If you think of everything that they have thrown at this man for the last 15 years, from the moment he came down that escalator, all the lawfare, all the weaponization, FISA warrants, spying on him, a valuation of Mar-a-Lago at $18 million when it's really $1 billion, $1.5 billion, and not one Democrat said us a word. But then they're grilling Pam Bondi, who did a phenomenal job pushing back. They're grilling her and saying, oh, you're not going to be involved in weaponization. I'm like, where were your voices when it actually was happening and it actually mattered? But if you want to look big picture, what makes Donald Trump such a unique historic figure, not only was this the greatest comeback, I think, politically, not just in the modern era, but in American history, is they threw everything at him, nothing stuck, The American people rejected what the legacy media was selling them, and he went forward with an agenda that was very pro-American people. You talked about the forgotten men and women. That was the theme in 2016. It really was the theme this time as well. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. All of those things impact people's lives in major ways. If you think about constitutional order, what our framers and our founders, what did they want? They wanted limited government, greater freedom. Now we're talking about DOGE and cutting $2 trillion in spending. That's transformational.
You know, and DOGE is kind of a common sense thing, because it's like, okay, we send our money to Washington, we want them to spend it effectively and efficiently, and they simply don't. And that's why his idea to have Elon and Vivek look at the stuff and figure out, okay, this works and this doesn't. So many people just feel like there's a fresh breeze blowing through Washington, because so many bad ideas have been up here.
They have said, oh, we're going to cut back on government spending. Yeah. Then when the moment came, if you even discussed reducing a rate of increase based on baseline budgeting, you're cutting grandma and grandpa's Social Security. There's so much waste, fraud, and abuse. But if government, the first role of government is to defend this land so we can remain free. That's the first role. That would start with the border. We've got to secure it. We've got to throw out the terrorists, the murderers, the rapists, the cartel members, the gang members. They got to go. Get rid of them. The next step is we've got to be financially independent, but we have to spend money. We have to shore up Social Security. We have to shore up Medicare. We need to prepare for the next generation of warfare, because I would argue, and I love Trump's idea about an Iron Dome, that future wars are not going to be fought on a battlefield. Right. Those wars are going to be fought in air-conditioned offices, probably somewhere in this city, and people pushing buttons. And that's going to cost a lot of money.
Well, you always talk about this. I hear you talk about it. And Brian touched on it at the beginning of our show, talking about Iran's nuclear capabilities. Yeah. How concerned are you, and what do you want Donald Trump to do about it?
Well, I think it's inevitable, based on every source that I talk to and based on published reports. They're anywhere between 3 and 6 months away from nuclear capability. The world cannot risk a modern-day Holocaust. And it's simply A squared, B squared, C squared. If you have radical Islamic mullahs, the #1 state sponsor of terror, and they have weapons of mass destruction, and they pledge to wipe Israel off the face of the earth and wipe America off the face of the earth, you got to take them out. So there is a reckoning coming, and that reckoning will be, in my mind, you have to cut off Iran's money. You do that by taking out their refineries, and Israel and the U.S. should partner and take out their nuclear sites, get it over once and for all. And I would argue most of the Middle East, that would be Egypt, that would be Jordan, that would be the Saudis, that would be the Emirates. They will all breathe a sigh of relief. They're all against Iranian hegemony and their stated goal of destroying, the entire region.
The window's there because they took out their missile defense. The window's there. They've already took out a portion of their nuclear program, and they know it, so they're vulnerable. They lost their bodyguards with Hezbollah. They lost their bodyguards with Hamas. They lost their access to Syria. Yeah. So right away, they have never, ever in 40 years been more vulnerable than right now. So I think Mike Waltz and Marco Rubio, as soon as he gets confirmed, and the President of the United States, it's hard for me to imagine something more important than addressing this before the Russians come in with another missile defense system to replace that.
Listen, I mean, the Trump effect is actually in full force already. When he said all hell will break out in the Middle East if these hostages are not released, this is not my favorite deal by any stretch of the imagination. However, Israel, the U.S., we put such a higher value on human life than those people that indoctrinate their kids from the moment they come out of the womb, and they have cartoons and they have books that teach kids to hate Jews and hate Americans. We're going to have to deal with that, but he dealt with it effectively the first time, and that's how he beat ISIS and the Caliphate. He wiped them out, and there's work to do there to make the world a safer place. We don't want long, protracted wars. No. If we're going to fight a war, fight it, decimate them, and get it over with.
So we talk about the Trump effect, and part of it is some of the Democrats are coming to the table. You got John Fetterman, who has
He's
He
impressive.
went to Mar-a-Lago to meet with the president, but Bernie Sanders said this in a new op-ed.
Bernie Sanders, our favorite.
On
senator.
FoxNews.com.
Yeah, Fox News, I'm going to tell you about the Trump effect. This is what he said right here. This is his plan to work with Trump. He says, I look forward to working with the President Trump, on legislation that would end the absurdity of Americans paying by far the highest price in the world for prescription drugs. President Trump stated that he wants to cap credit card interest rates to 10%. He's right. I look forward to working with Trump administration on new trade policies that will protect American workers and create good paying jobs for our country. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there will be areas of agreement with Bernie Sanders. I mean, no tax on tips, is he against that? Or Social Security, or no tax on overtime? As a former blue-collar worker, those are things I would have loved to have had in my life, right? I worked in the service industry. I worked in the construction industry. I worked a lot of overtime, way more than Steve Ducey ever did.
I was a roofer.
And relied on tips.
And I relied on tips, and it means so much to people. I would argue that's why Donald Trump won in Nevada.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at this, and this will unfold very quickly, in my view, starting with executive orders. Donald Trump has an opportunity that maybe you only see every 100, 150 years, and that is to truly be a transformational president. If we give lip service, we're going to cut back the size of government. They say it, they never do it, they never mean it. Republicans and Democrats, it's like a uniparty. Okay, it's not real. But if he cuts back the size scope of government and cuts $2 trillion in spending, that's transformative. If he builds the next generation of weaponry, that's transformative. If he makes America the most energy dominant country, that's transformative.
Right.
If he throws people that don't respect our laws, borders, and sovereignty out of this country, that's transformative. If he gets the economy running, think about this. In Alaska, people in Alaska, they don't pay a state income tax. By the way, all you pay New York state income taxes. I'm all in favor of Fox and Friends Florida. I don't know, just a thought I had.
Where do I sign up? That's good.
But think about this. It's in Alaska, not only do you not pay a state income tax,
You get a refund.
you get money.
Yes.
They pay you based on the natural resources. Could we ever get to the point we pay off $40 trillion and then, based on all of the energy that we sell to our Western European allies, can we then get a piece of that?
Well, the thing about living in Alaska, though, is it's really cold like it is here. Sean, before you go, you're going to be here in Washington for a couple of days. A number of Washington, D.C. restaurants are offering presidential specials for the inaugural.
Okay, they're about to bring beer onto the set.
Yes.
Hannity, the show, never gets beer. I mean,
Okay. Well, and it's true. You're a nighttime show. You all right? The morning show doesn't have beer. And by the way, hold on.
Mary, come here.
The one, turn around that way. That is my daughter, Mary Deuce.
Thank you all. Thank you.
This is from Union Pub. They've got a $47 for 47 platter that comes with a pitcher of presidential Pilsner, 2 orders of Angus beef sliders, and French
Hold on. Wait a minute. I want to know, how did LJ get both pitchers of
There you go.
Send some down here.
It looks like a semi-commitment to Guinness.
Some of these.
All right, take a sip.
You want a French fry?
What am I? Hoda and Kathy used to drink on set. Oh, wait. Sean Hannity's drinking beer. Come on, let's get a shot of that. It's going to be an interesting
That's
today.
incredible.
I'm not a big beer drinker, but it's a good beer.
Out of the pitcher.
So what are these sliders?
Okay.
So, what's the deal? It's $47 for a 47 platter.
That's right.
Did you already say that?
Union Pub.
47 what?
It's $47 for the 47th platter. You get a beer, you get the
47 platter?
Yeah, because Donald
This is a
Trump.
good deal. I'd go there.
Tell me about your show today. Where's it going to be from?
Special
actually doing
edition.
it, I think from here. And tomorrow night will be it's been changing quite a bit, but we'll be at one of the balls where President Trump will be.
Depending on his schedule.
Depending on
You
his
want it to be
schedule.
live.
And we're going to join you.
One final sip.
Yeah, Lawrence and I'll be on the
You're both going to be on the set. Brian said no, and Steve said no.
Yeah, I have a fee. And you just don't. You don't have a budget for that.
You don't have a tuxedo.
That's true. Sean, we'll look forward to seeing you tonight.
Hey guys, I watch every morning. Love you all. Thank you for having
Love you
me.
back.
Thank you for
Congratulations once
All
again.
right, absolutely. Congratulations.
Cheers.
More Fox and Friends coming up.
Okay, business leaders, are you playing defense or are you on the offense? Are you just, excuse me, hey, I'm trying to talk business here.
As I was saying, are you here just to play, or are you playing to win? If you're in it to win, meet your next MVP. NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is your full business management system in one suite. With NetSuite, you're running your accounting, your financials, HR, e-commerce, and more, all from your online dashboard. One source of truth means every department's working from the same numbers with no data delays. And with AI embedded throughout, you're automating manual tasks, plus getting fast insights for your next move. Whether you're competing on your home turf or looking to conquer international markets, NetSuite helps you get the W. Over 40,000 businesses have already made the move to NetSuite, the #1 cloud ERP.
Right now, get the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Fox News. Get this free guide at netsuite.com/Fox News.
Okay, guys.
Ever wake up feeling sluggish and unmotivated to take on your day? Meet Lumen, the revolutionary device that unlocks the secrets of your metabolism in a single breath. Your metabolism is your body's way of telling you how it's feeling. It's behind your energy levels, your weight, and your overall well-being. With Lumen, you can find out whether you're burning fat or carbs and get real-time recommendations to keep your metabolism in check and keep you feeling your best. Developed by PhD physiologists, Lumen puts lab-level metabolic testing in your hands so you can understand your body's needs and achieve your goals. Whether you're looking to boost energy, lose weight, or get active, take the next step towards a better you in 2025. Go to lumen.me today to save up to 40%. Unlock your discount now and take charge of your metabolic health with Lumen. Listeners get up to 40% off with code FOXNEWS. Visit lumen.me and use code FOXNEWS for up to 40% off. That's lumen.me, code FOXNEWS for up to 40% off today.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline at 800-522-7075. 800-522-7075. 800-522-7075.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing related questions.
Hey everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/Fox to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/Fox for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
FBI issues warning. China has successfully gained access to U.S. energy companies, telecommunications, and water plants, meaning you and your family are in critical danger of random blackouts. Are you ready? Fort Patriots has you covered with a powerful solar generator that is safe enough to use inside and never needs gas ever. People use their solar generators to power big appliances like their fridge for days. Kevin M. from Savannah said, I ran 2 refrigerators and 2 freezers. Angel H. from Texas said, it's a lifesaver. And Donald L. said, not only is the generator great, the customer service is fantastic. Why use unsafe gas generators that breathe toxic fumes? Play it safe with the Patriot Power Solar Generator 2000X by Fort Patriots. This best-selling generator is sold out before, so don't wait or you may find yourself in the dark during a dangerous blackout. Go to getsolar2.com. That's getsolar2.com. Claim a free solar panel and free gifts. Go to getsolar2.com now.
Putting faith front and center, President-elect Donald Trump has invited the Reverend Franklin Graham and New York's Cardinal Timothy Dolan to deliver the invocation at tomorrow's inauguration on Capitol Hill. Samaritan's first president, Reverend Franklin Graham, joins us now with a preview. Reverend, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. It's an honor.
You're welcome. What did you think when he asked you to do this? I know you've done it before, but it's still such an honor. Yes.
It is an honor, and to be able to focus on God and to ask for God's blessing for this administration and to thank Him for what He has done for our nation. And to be able to pray for the president in front of the nation is so important. He needs our prayers. There's the problems that we're facing as a nation are incredible, huge. And for us to be able just to focus and stop for a minute and pray that God would give him wisdom, guide, and directive steps is so important. And I would encourage people everywhere to pray for him every day.
Absolutely.
And I encourage the president, when you get up in the morning, when you roll out of bed, get on your knees and ask God for help. And he'll do that. And so tomorrow's a very important day. Looking forward to it. And we just pray that God will protect him and bless him every step he takes.
I pray constantly that he will be safe and protected.
Yes.
And the Bible says we should pray for our leaders.
Absolutely. He commands us to pray.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for everything you've done in North Carolina, too. And you'll be there with Cardinal Dolan. But this is not your first time. You did the invocation for George Bush, for Donald Trump when he was 45. And